Hey guys, welcome to my first episode talking about my bookish hot takes. I'm gonna do multiple of these book boyfriends, bookish this or that's, what I prefer in books, all of the fun stuff. But this time we're going to be doing this or that questions. So you can listen and follow along. This is not going to be a very visual video. You can put on your headphones, go on a walk, and listen and follow along whatever you choose to do. So, let's get this party started. Okay, so I asked some people that I know for questions for this bookish this or that, and let's just go through them. So, question one is physical books or ebooks? Okay, so I tried using an ebook and I didn't really like it. It didn't really work out for me. So, I say physical books. Hardcover or paperback? Oh my. Okay, this one's difficult because I like hardcovers, but I also like paperbacks. I feel like for fantasy, hardcovers are the best. I'm not sure why. I guess fantasy is just more hardcover feelings, but paperback would be for romance or like for a mystery book. That's my opinion. I'm not sure. Annotate like a scholar or keep it crisp and clean. Um, I once tried annotating like a scholar, as in like underlining, highlighting, doing little doodles, but to me it didn't really work out that well. So I would just do tabs. Now I'm only doing tabs. So just like keep it crisp and clean with just tabs. Okay, read in total silence or with cozy music playing. Um, I'd say cozy music, but it can't have words. If it has words, then I'll just get so distracted in trying to focus on the words rather than the content on the book. Okay, early morning reading or late night chapters under the covers. I like them both. I'd say early morning reading or late night chapters. Okay, again, it depends on the book. So for fantasy, I'd say at night because it gives off those spooky night vibes. And for romance, I'd say during the day. Okay, fantasy or romance? Remember for this question, this is my game, me answering these questions. For this question, fantasy or romance? Romantasy. Romantasy, which is romance and fantasy. I get to choose. I'm not choosing between romance or fantasy because I love them both. Some of my favorite books are romance, and some of my favorite books are fantasy. So both. Enemies to lovers or friends to lovers? Whoa, 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 whoa. I love enemies to lovers because there's so much tension, so much longing. But friends to lovers is just so cute because they just don't want to admit it. And they've known each other for so long and they have that strong connection as best friends. So I feel like enemies to lovers because you get more tension, you get more banter rather than friends to lovers. It's just like people can't talk about their feelings and resolve the issue. Um, Fake dating or forced proximity? Oh my. Okay. Fake dating is great. I love fake dating. I love forced proximity. But here's my thing. Here's my thoughts. Isn't fake dating forced proximity? When you fake date with someone, aren't you spending time with them and being forced to be together? That's how I think of it. Forced proximity is good, but fake dating, you kind of have to be together. So, because you're not going to be like dating and you're like 6 feet away from each other, you know? Okay, one bed trope or forbidden love? Ah, I love forbidden love, like in Once Upon a Broken Heart, or like Legendary or Finale. But I'd say one bed trope because if you give me a good one bed trope, like that one bed trope in Reckless, or let me think of another book. I don't remember another book that has a one bed trope, but a one bed trope, definitely, definitely. Slow burner or insta love? Okay, if it's a series, I don't want insta love. And slow burn, yeah, I'd choose slow burn because it just makes me, it has me on the edge of my feet. I'll be like, when is this happening? When are they getting together? When is all this information gonna happen? So I'd say slow burn. The best slow burn I have ever read is the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy, because the first book I'm like, when are Jax and Evangeline gonna get together? The second book I'm like, they're still not together. What more could possibly happen? The third book, I got to the end. I'm like, finally. But took 3 books for them to kiss. And then it got kind of rushed at the end. But yeah. Plot driven thrillers or character driven stories. Okay, I like a thriller, I like a plot driven thriller, but a character driven story is so much better because you get to connect with the characters, you get to know the characters a lot more rather than just offer the plot, you know? Okay, a series or a standalone. Okay, I like standalones for romance and series for fantasy, because fantasy there's always so much going on with the politics and with the people, and for romance it's just like, why do you need multiple books, you know? So in general I would prefer a series, because it's just like the story going on, unless it's redundant and I get sick of it, and then I'll DNF it. But like, you don't need for Twilight is insta love. Twilight is literally insta love. Twilight, you don't need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 books. You don't need 7 books for Twilight. The first book, they end up getting together. Like, you don't need so many books. So, that's my opinion. Dystopian future or historical past? Um, a historical past book would be Divine Rivals, right? So I'd say a historical past, because I'm not from the past. Like, I don't know how the past was. So I feel like that would be kind of cool. But a dystopian future would be cool imagining it. I don't know. Historical past. I guess I'd say historical past, yeah. Okay. Don't judge a book by its cover or trust a blurb. Cover. Half 90 no 98% of the books on my shelf I have bought because I like the cover. There's only a couple that I haven't, that I bought because of the blurb. I love the cover on most of them. So, cover. Spoilers are evil, or I don't mind them. I don't mind them because I always end up spoiling it for myself. I would be like, for the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy, I was reading it and like, dang it, when are they gonna kiss? And I searched it up and I was kind of disappointed. But I would spoil it for myself. I don't like it when other people spoil it for me. I kind of do though. I like spoilers, just not crazy spoilers like at the end of Legendary type of spoilers. Okay, dust jacket on or off when reading? Off. I don't want to mess up the dust jacket. You don't mess up a dust jacket. Dust jackets are great. They're pretty and they're great to put on your shelf. I take it off, I put it in its place on the shelf, and then once I'm done finishing the book, I put it back on and I put it on the shelf. Okay, so those were the 16 questions on my Bookish This or That. I have a couple more coming. I have book boyfriend scenarios. I have general bookish questions. I have romance book questions. I have fantasy book questions. I have adaptations and aesthetics. Book boyfriends would you rather? Tropes I die for versus tropes I delete. Plus an explanation on the tropes. And random questions. But that was it, guys. Thank you.